Thank you for tuning in and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be another step-by-step guide on how to build a Melee Sorceress in Median XL. This is my first character after retiring my Rising Dawn Paladin that I've decided to go full on in and focus all my attention on. And I gotta say, it's been a super fun character to play, and I'm really excited to share with you guys what I've learned. While this character is very powerful, it does lend itself to be a rather simple yet engaging playstyle, much like the Rising Dawn Paladin. You have a couple active buffs you have to manage, and once you actually get the Melee Sorceress set on, you actually acquire the Sacred Armor skill that you'd get normally as a Paladin that you can use as an active mitigation cooldown for when you find yourself in some more dangerous situations, which you probably will as Melee in this game. As with the last guide, this video will be broken down into 3 smaller parts. I will leave timestamps down in the description of the video, so again, you can jump back and forth and reference this video if you have any questions about the build. Before we jump into this guide, I do want to remind everybody that I stream Wednesday morning and Thursday morning, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and on Sunday evening, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time as well. I will leave a link down in the description to my Twitch channel, so if you guys ever catch me live and have any questions, feel free to jump in, or you can send me a private message on Twitch, and I will do my best to help you through the guide as I did with the Rising Dawn. Why don't we go ahead and head in game so we can go over the guide so you guys can get on to making yourself a badass Melee Sorceress like I have, alright? I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye. Okay, welcome in game, guys. We are on my level 135 Sorceress, the Melee Lady, as you will. While you can level this character as Melee, I really would not suggest it. I had the best tiered leveling uniques you can pretty much use on the Melee Sorceress. I really wanted to see what it was like from start to finish as Melee, and it's just not very fun. It's an absolute chore to try to get through. Your damage really isn't all that high. Your combat effectiveness is really low. Your attack speed and hit recovery frames are super crap at that point. So I would suggest leveling as cold/lightning, and I have the tree built out exactly how you would want to as you're leveling. We will be focusing on using cold as our primary damage source, using the lightning and arcane trees as support. The 3 talents you want to max first and foremost are Frigid Sphere, Snow Queen, and Warp Armor. These will give a large bonus to defense, chance to avoid damage, and Frigid Sphere with tiered uniques, which we'll go over later in the guide, can actually do enough damage to kill bosses for the most part, at least until you get to level 100. Once you've maxed the 3 big talents for leveling, the other talents you're going to want to look to put points in are Nova Charge, Ice Elementals, and Familiar. 6 points into Nova Charge, you're only going to want to get the 50% of base dexterity added to energy. Any extra points into this are just going to increase the lightning damage, which we're not looking to do, so only 6 points in this ever. 8 points into Ice Elementals is what I would suggest. Once you get to 8, you will have 5 Elementals. Most of their life actually comes from leveling Frigid Sphere, so you don't have to worry about investing any more hard points into this. These guys will be plenty tanky as you're leveling, believe me. The other talent we're going to invest into is actually Familiar. For every 5 base levels, you get +1 to all skill levels, and the cast speed % energy added to your character will just make the leveling process that much smoother. If you have any excess points after maxing those points and the supplementary ones, I would suggest putting points into this until you unlock your reward skills a little bit later. The great thing about leveling as a cold source is, in my opinion, they have the most powerful, well-optimized tiered unique setup of pretty much any character and any spec you can get. Maybe close second is the Unholy Caster Paladin from the Rising Dawn build, but it's really hard to beat these uniques. These things are stupid powerful, and it makes leveling an absolute joke. Just like in the Rising Dawn guide, the crafting materials needed for this build are going to be 24 arcane crystals and 6 oils of enchantment, which can be bought at a vendor. Again, do Nilithak and Mephisto runs on normal to quickly acquire the arcane crystals needed for this build. The tiered unique weapon of choice for this build is going to be the Lunar Song Sacred Globe. This gives a large bonus to energy factor to spell damage, plus to all sorceress skill levels, a fairly large cold spell damage bonus, much needed cold resistance pierce, and a large chunk of cold resist plus regenerate mana. The tiered unique that I would suggest using while leveling is actually the Cloud Ladder Spike Shield. This gives plus to all skills, plus to all sorceress skills, a large bonus to enhanced defense, and a large bonus to all attributes, making gear requirement much easier to meet while leveling. The tiered unique armor of choice is the Nightscape Lamellar armor. This gives a huge bonus to both cast speed and hit recovery, which will help smooth out your gameplay. A massive bonus to minion life, minion damage, and minion resistance, making your ice elementals extremely tanky while leveling. A fairly large bonus to spell damage, a big bonus to flat mana, enhanced defense on the chest, and total character defense percentage, making your character's defenses very strong while leveling, allowing you not to die very easily while playing this character. The tiered unique helmet of choice is the Celestial Crown Circlet. This helmet is absolutely bananas for leveling. This rivals some sacred uniques in the game and some higher level rune words. This gives an insanely large energy factor to spell damage, some of the biggest cold spell damage you can get on a helmet early level, much needed enemy cold resistance pierce, and a huge bonus to flat energy. Not to mention it gives up to 120% cold resistance, so once you actually hit hell, your cold resistance should be easily capped. This thing is bonkers for leveling. The tiered unique belt of choice will be the Aaron Orbiter belt. This gives a large bonus to cast speed, a smaller bonus to cold spell damage, again a large bonus to flat energy, which will help sustain your mana, and a decent amount of all resistance, help shoring up any defenses your character might be lacking while leveling. The tiered unique boots that we will be using for this build are going to be the Lion Paw chain boots. These give a large bonus to movement speed, accelerating your character even faster while leveling. Again, a massive bonus to all attributes, making gearing requirements much easier to achieve, plus a large bonus to flat life and flat mana, allowing for a much more survivable character in and out of combat while leveling. While you're leveling as cold, you want to put just enough points into dexterity and strength to use any kind of gear that you have while leveling, and then you want to put as many points into energy as possible. Remember to collect any flawless and perfect topazes as well, and socket those in your gear for a nice bonus percent to energy while leveling. This will make your damage output much greater until you get to the point where you can switch over to the Melee Sorceress. Here we are back on my current Sorceress to give you guys an idea of the gear that I'm actually currently using on my Melee Sorceress as a frame of reference for what to look for as you're progressing through the game collecting gear. Now, I would really suggest staying as cold until you can farm the 4 pieces of the Melee Sorceress set. You're going to have an extremely hard time actually playing Melee Sorceress outside of having this set, but I promise you, once you actually get this set, it is a game changer. This set is incredibly powerful, and I've actually been able to take this character farming Bremtown and Fotsonville extraordinarily easy and comfortable just using the gear that I have on my character currently. Once you have acquired the 4 pieces of the Melee Sorceress set, you're actually pretty much good to go to make the transition. You can use these 4 pieces plus some random leveling gear, and you can easily farm Duncraig using this character as is. You're going to want to socket Jaw runes into your weapon for the increased damage, IO runes in any piece you can for the increased dexterity, and I personally have 4 Ath runes in my glove to hit the second highest hit frame recovery for sorceresses. Without it, I'm a little bit short, and believe me, between block speed and hit recovery, you're going to want it, especially when you get swarmed in places like Fotsonville and Duncraig. The other gear on my Sorceress besides the 4 set pieces are as follows. I have Torque's Gift for the added cold damage. This actually chills enemies once you hit them with your attack, allowing for greater CC. The sash of choice that I'm using is Sash of the Frozen Seas, just for the flat attack rating and the percent attack speed bonus. I need this to reach the attack speed breakpoint, but the belt that I would suggest early on before you get a sacred unique belt is actually the Vith rune word Truce. This gives you a large bonus to physical resistance, which will help round out your character's defenses on early. I'm still using Lion Paw just for the additional attributes. The flat life and flat mana is actually really good for this character. The rings are a Rip Star, which I was given to by a friend, and a Giant's Knuckle. I actually found this not too long ago, and I'm looking to replace this Rip Star with a Giant's Knuckle. And the amulet I'm using is Dyer's Eve. I believe this one is best in slot for melee. All you want to look for is to get the physical resistance on this higher, but I believe this is your go-to amulet for even the most end game of this character. The talent tree that I would suggest using while farming places like Fotsonville, Bremtown, and Duncraig, which this character can easily do, is actually not putting too many points in melee at all. While Bladestorm is technically like your end game AoE skill and Fullest Weight is what you're going to be wanting for single target, right now the fact that the set gives you Spiral Dance as a skill, it's actually a little bit easier to use because it allows you to put more points in your defensive talents rather than putting a bunch of points here into the melee. So this might look a little triggering to some, end game super, veteran melee sorceress, but for farming, I really suggest as a new player, don't worry about using it. Spiral Dance is plenty strong. You're just going to want to max Snow Queen up to the point where it's got 30% max life and 25,000 flat defense, as many points as you can in warp armor. Over into reward, you're actually going to be putting as many points into Baneblade. This is your bread and butter skill. 5 points into Symbol of Esu for obvious reasons. 1 point into Force Blast if you want to. And then you're going to put all your rest of your points into Familiar. The reason being the same while leveling, this gives a large bonus to all skill levels, which affects Spiral Dance, which makes your damage go up, makes all your defensive talents a little bit better. And if you have any points left over, you can put into Nova Charge just to give yourself a little bit extra energy, because when you use your mana shield and you get smacked and you run out of mana, you're not going to be able to cast anything, so having a larger mana pool does help a little bit as you're farming. As this character is a work in progress and I still have some relatively low level gear on, I have been able to acquire some higher level gear for later once you actually get to a point where you can transition out of the set bonuses. So I'm actually going to give you guys a really quick sneak peek of some gear that I've been accumulating to make the transition over to a super end game melee sorceress. I have been given the Dervish of Aranok by a friend. We had this drop from our Taganze farmer who's playing an ATMG assassin, and he was able to acquire this. And me being a melee sorceress, I believe this is best in slot for melee sorceress. A good alternative is Cloak of the Outcast, but I do believe the Dervish is better. Royal Circlet is best in slot forever. This thing is absolutely fantastic. We actually had one drop recently, but again, this one was given to me by a friend, Ekatel. He was kind enough to find this very early on, and knowing I was going to be going melee source has allowed me to use it. I have crafted with Abandoned Shrines on a Spike Shield Sacred for the +2 base block chance is really what you're going for. You want higher dexterity, obviously, but this one is good enough for now. This can roll up to +10% physical resistance, so this can get much better, but I ran out of shrines, so once I get enough, I will craft a better one, hopefully soon. I have a crafted Warp Blade here. This is not that much better than the set the set Warp Blade that I'm using right now. The only real big difference is the fact that it has built-in Magic Find, which is pretty crazy, and the 9% Deadly Strike is actually pretty good. Your absolute best in slot is the Steel Punisher Sacred unique, but we haven't been lucky enough in our group to find one, so this is probably going to be my sword of choice after I get to a point where I feel comfortable enough to make this transition. A very strong alternative to using the Steel Punisher is actually getting a Sis Shark in a Warp Blade as well. You're going to need to have a Warp Blade, and you're actually going to have to craft a Sis Talrune. That is probably the second best in slot you can get until Steel Punisher. We are working on actually crafting one for this character as well. So if you happen to get a Sis Rune before you get the Steel Punisher, use that until you get Steel Punisher, and you'll be good to go. All right, guys, I know that was a lot of information. I want to thank you personally if you've made it this far. If you liked the video or if this helped you, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, go ahead and check below for Twitch information of when I schedule and when I go live so you can see me play this character whenever I stream. Thank you again so much, guys. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your night. Stay safe, stay healthy. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye-bye.